Dundalk and Derry City, and I'm back from my travels. Good to see Kev and Michael kept it going when I was away. No incidents. Went pretty smoothly.
I like to point out no incidents. It went outstandingly smoothly. The only incident we had was you sticking on YouTube. I told the world I'd be on at 12 noon. I'm getting messages, and I had to just say our American correspondent is on it. So Simon, how did that go on YouTube?
Well, I think you find it's on YouTube.
How did it afford it to go on YouTube, I should say?
There was a few wee technical issues. There was a lost phone. There was almost a missed flight. So I think I done pretty well to get it up and going. So thanks for your support.
Well, that's true. I don't think the company will be happy. The IT company, we charge a £900 a month for a new mobile phone, but that's neither here nor there, folks. Anyway, we're back, as I say. Simon's back in his travels. Simon, I suppose you have to start with Derry against Dundalk. It wasn't a good performance, there's no two ways about it.
It wasn't, and it's a slow start again. I watched the Sligo game when I was over in America, and it was the same kind of thing. Basically a carbon copy of that Sligo game, where it was just far too slow out of the blocks. They give the opposition team a foothold in the game. Dundalk, in this sense that we're set up very well. Now Dundalk had a week off, basically with their game postponed. They get the advantage of having a look at Derry City and how they were setting things up. Derry going on sort of cold, didn't know what way Dundalk were setting up. They had a few new signings there too, which we've seen a lot of experience with Buckley and even Danny Mullen up there leading the line. They have signed well, but I think they just got their game plan right, and they made it difficult for Derry. I think from the start, took them away, they scored a goal, Paddy McLean's goal, before they really got going, didn't it?
Well, this is it was crazy because maybe for the first 5 or 6 minutes, Derry actually started alright. There was balls across the box. Josh Thompson couldn't get in front of it. There was corners, a few bits and pieces. You're thinking, right, the crowd's up for it. Then it just petered out. And then obviously Owen Kennedy gets his goal, lovely finish on the bottom corner. But
what do you think of the goal, Kate? Because for me, and even looking back at it, it was just, there was a lovely finish, and you can't blame the keeper for that, and we'll talk more about the keeper situation in a minute, but I think they should have been coming out a bit quicker.
I think it was Rob Slavin's clearance, took a deflection and then it fell. Buckley picked it up and just gave it straight on the Kennedy, but you're right, they weren't tight enough, they didn't come out quick enough after Rob Slavin's clearance. I know they'd put their hands up for a free kick, but it wasn't given. But I think the whole lot sort of stems from the starting 11, and the starting 11, we talked about Brian Maher being missing. Young Shea Callister getting his first start in senior football. It's a big game for him. Brian out is massive, there's no two ways about it. That's no disrespect to Young Shea, done rightly, but no, it's a big loss. A Miller one, I think, was a bigger loss to me, in my opinion anyway, was taking Card Manchester out of your centre midfield and putting them right back. In my opinion, that's a no-no. Card Manchester has to sit in front of your back four, back three. He's the man. You can't be changing.
It's just one on second balls,
He's the boy that's out and stops from killing in the shot now.
Without a doubt. He gets that protection for Paddy McLean and Slavin. There's no doubt about that. I think. Now, I asked Kieran Lynch afterwards why did he select him, because Bannon, he scored a great goal. He had a good game from what I seen in the Sligo match. So it was a bit of a shock to see him coming out there. Now it's justification, Tiernan Lynch's justification for putting Manchester right back. I don't think Kieran did bad at right back. Now even when he did venture forward, he's not going to be bombing up that wing.
No, exactly.
It's not going to be like your wing back or like your attacking full back. But when he did, he was delivering some good crosses, and that was probably for the first half, was probably our only really outlay.
And it was unlucky in the second half getting the goal, lovely quick 1-2, it was cleared off the line.
And that was fantastic football. We'll come to that later too, I'm sure, because that deserves its own wee say.
Yeah, exactly.
Only he should have scored. But no, Kieran was basically justifying that decision, taking Bannon out, Manchester right back, because Kiar had played against Darrell Horgan previously in England, and he knew his game inside out, he said. So maybe that was a tactical reason that he put him on there. Now, I thought Darragh Organ had a decent game. I know it wasn't because of Ciara Winchester allowed him to have a decent game, but you're right, I'm in agreement. Like you have to put your best players in their best positions.
Yeah.
You can't be tinkering about. I know it's early days. I know you're probably trying to second guess the opposition there. As we said, we didn't get a look at Dundalk previously the Friday night. So, but I just think that kind of backfired. Adam O'Reilly, James McLean on there. James McLean, as we discussed, is not a holding midfielder. For me, James was kind of wasted on there. He was coming back, and you see him trying to do work that doesn't need to be done. You know, kicking the ball off the centre half and sideway passes, and that's not James.
I go you up 10 yards, James, and maybe they'll get it in the half turn.
Exactly, create a wee bit of space on there, and I don't think. And then Adam O'Reilly, we know what his game's about. It's about energy. It's about bursting forward, and you know, and they have them. They don't complement each other.
No, and I think too. What would work well against Sligo and the President's Cup was when James sort of drifted the left back and he pushed Brandon Freeman forward and Mickey Duffy in the pocket. Again, it's going back to trying to get the best out of Mickey Duffy. Mickey was poor, with no two ways about it. He gets his goal and he's delighted he's opened his goal scoring account for the season. But look, he had a poor game. Look, it's going to happen every, don't get me wrong. But when you get the best out of Mickey Duffy over just last season, prior to Mickey coming back, he probably hadn't had the heights that we'd all hoped, and he'd be the same. They say that, but you went to a box four in the middle, and that's where Mickey thrived. The days of Mickey possibly being the jinking winger down the side, mopping on crosses, his game's changed. And
for the better, I think.
Exactly, so last season that proved it, so I think it's possibly trying to get that box four back and sort of tandem like.
So there's 10 new signings, so there's going to be a bit of tinkering and seeing what works and what doesn't work. You know, was Marky out there in the right wing and Mickey in the left wing? I thought you're losing a wee bit from their creativity then when they become isolated out in either flank, and I think like James Clark I think is fantastic. He was showing glimpses like there's a wee Zidane turn and stuff like that.
And once he played the cameo away, once he had the turn back flick like
that was beautiful football there with Marky, and you know, that piece of play is a wee glimpse of what can happen when it's a tighter pitch and maybe and you're playing just those wee one touches and you know, giving goals and stuff like that. We've got the players to do that. They create spaces when teams are sitting back. But we've got two teams that are. You have to give Dundalk a wee bit more credit than when Sligo were here. They didn't sit back. It was, they had two boys up front, and they stretched the game as well. So
Danny Mullen, could have went home with a match ball. He hit the post, he had a header, and a few other chances. Dundalk were a threat. There's no doubt about it. I think they definitely looked like a side that had the energy too. It was the first game. It was their first game of the season. They were ready for it. But no, I was impressed with Dundalk. Rob Cornwall was steady at the back. I first of all have to apologise for the word. My report actually is controversial penalty. Having not seen it, and I think quite a few of us over at our side, from on the South End Park side, was going, what's that for? I know, having heard Liam Coyle, he sort of says the same thing. He thought the referee was atrocious. He didn't know why the penalty was given. I since have went home and watched it on YouTube. It's a penalty all day long.
And he actually could have given it just before.
And the referee's in great position. He's looking straight at it, and Rob just doesn't take his hand off it. It's just continuous, and he's pulling it straight in. So I hold my hand up to yes. It wasn't a controversial.
There was a few of those incidents, and we must say that we needed a few replays there at the South End Park stand. But the referee, I agree, he got the big calls wrong. The Kieran Culduff, I interviewed him afterwards, and you seen him at the final also, he was like straight over to the referee. The referee apparently told him, according to Kieran Culduff, that about the incident with the penalty. Now it's late in the game as well. It was the last kick of the match, McGee's penalty, but the referee told him that he did the same thing 3 times prior to it, and Culduff was basically saying, why didn't you 3? so it's hard to justify in terms of that, but I put it to him then afterwards. He was like, well, Tiernan Lynch is in there, he's fuming that they didn't get First of all, a penalty, which was a blatant shove in the back of James Clark, who chested it down, and it was the centre half.
Yeah.
Not to say that you're not attempting the surname,
No,
Kev, just typical of you type.
Yeah.
but it was a blatant bars in the back.
Yeah.
I think everybody was going, how can you not give that? And the referee was well placed. I'm not sure that's a head scratcher, that one, how you don't give the penalty. And then the Josh Thomas incident. Yeah, we have kind of different views on this.
I think there's probably not enough contact for Josh to get out. I know people are saying it'll be a straight red card if it happens. I don't even know if it would be, because where the ball's going, I know people would say it's denying a goal scoring opportunity. It's probably denying Usain Bolt a goal scoring opportunity.
Well, Usain Bolt.
Well, this is it. Like, to get the second ball, but don't get me wrong, it's a talking point. And if you're Tiernan and you're Josh, you're not happy. Like.
No, I think initially I don't think there was contact. Afterwards, not saying it's influenced by people by talking about the incident, the players themselves. They did give convincing arguments for it, and then after seeing the footage, and we'll show a bit of the footage here on our YouTube video. For those who listen to their podcast elsewhere, you don't get the advantage of it, but I'm sure it's out there and you can see the footage. And for me, it looks like his knees up high. He takes him out. He had some sort of in the stomach area here, and he goes down. It doesn't take a lot of contact when you're sprinting to the ball. For me, he gets on the end of it, and that's a goal. So it should have been a red card. It's another massive contentious moment in the match that could have swung the momentum Derry's way, because Derry take the lead in these games. I think it's a possession after that, because they've got the piss with Josh Thomas. They've got so much creativity. You got Mickey and even if James comes out. They've got Markey as well too. These guys, they're dangerous on a counter attack.
Well, this is not Derry it's Derry a counter attacking team at the end of the day. If a team sits in, takes the lead, it's going to be right. This is going to be difficult. Like any team, doesn't matter if you're the great Barcelona, whatever it is, it's going to be difficult. The team sits in, but you're right. If Derry take the lead and the team has to come out and go with them, then James Clark and whenever else can get in and get the chances.
Yourself and McGee last week made a great point too. That the factor of the pitch, it's slow and build up, and it's unpredictable. So that doesn't help when you go behind and you're struggling to sort of like knock it about the way that these guys we know can do.
Well, this is it. And even then, looking at sort of the Dundalk's second goal, I know you spoke to Patrick, I spoke to Patrick, and it was one of them where Patrick tries to hit it off there, Horgan doesn't come off there. No disrespect, Patrick, you have to switch on, son. You have to sort of see he's behind you, and he didn't.
It was how long after? Was it 8 minutes or so after his goal? So I think he still was like in just daydreaming about that, running under the north stand end, and his brother's teeing him up, and that's a dream. That's a dream goal for him. Like, it was his first. Gary Ferry was back too.
He got his farewell tour after 20 minutes. He obviously didn't sell out.
But he came back and he came out with a stat. We were hounding him for a stat, and he came out with a nice one. It was April 2019 since Paddy McLean's last goal for Derry City, and so you can forgive him for sort of getting caught up in the moment there, like, but
no,
it could have cost him. A Ruby then just, and again. We'll suppose we'll move on to the goalkeeper situation.
Well, this is
young Callister,
he
gave him too much.
They had to, in my opinion,
too much of a target.
Yeah, and to be fair, Ruby was a great finish. Can't take nothing away from him, but young Chase, it's a big thing for him now, because obviously Brian Maher's removed for 45 weeks anyway.
Disastrous.
I think it's a ski foil bone he's broke, and his wrist. I only know this because my dad broke it years ago playing at Hull Park Sevens, so I know.
It's just like
you can't find it. Like, it's a very much you do a scan, it's not there. You still feel it, right? You go for a second scan. I think it might have been the second or third scan that they eventually found it.
Because it was in Spain, was it?
It happened in Spain. So he played obviously against Rovers. He played against. And the President's Cup, he played against Sligo, so he's played a couple of games since that, like, and
it's not one you're going to get an injection on and take a risk, because that could do more damage and be out longer term, and we can't afford that. Like, but then Shea Callister, in terms of his performance, now apparently by all accounts he's a very confident young guy.
Yeah.
He's a, you know, and I know his dad was there and he was delighted with. There's some lovely pictures afterwards of him celebrating together.
Yeah.
But it's his first game in senior football, really competitive game. He made 2 great saves. The one that he hooked clawed out with a full strikes from Danny Mullen.
Yeah.
Danny Mullen was the game we didn't really see it from our side, but from the other side he gets a touch. From Danny Mullen's shot that goes on the post. So another great save there.
Yeah.
You know, we criticise him for the second Dundalk goal. His kicking seems to be pretty good. But in terms of a 19-year-old, you know, holding the fort there for a team that should be challenging for the league title.
For league titles, and it's 4,000 or 5,000 at the game.
I think like at that age, he should be ideally going out on loan somewhere to get senior football experience. Not you can't be learning on the job at Derry City where the pressure's going to be like.
The scrutiny's going to be on you, like there's no doubt about it. I just think now, from all eyes to try and get a right back, it's now probably trying to possibly get a goalkeeper with a bit of experience to come in. Because there's a lot of big games coming up, you know, you will talk about it later, but you've Bows coming to Brandywell, you obviously then have Waterford, and then you're going to Tala. I would say that, you know, you're going to have to be possibly looking at getting the keeper in, and the right back situation, you know, I think, from what I can gather, I think Cameron Dunnigan could be back this week in full training. He could be a right back. I don't think Cameron Dunnigan will be delighted with me saying this, but I think he's ideally, because he's such a Rolls Royce and can play in so many positions.
He plays really well there.
Well, this is that if you can get him on there, you can put Winchester back on the midfield. You know, it's a nice dilemma to have, and Tiernan hasn't had it because of Cameron's been injured, but if you've Dunnigan back on, it's a nice dilemma to have. And I don't know if he'll be able to start against Bows, but if he's full training, you can ease him sort of back in and eventually get the minutes up and get him going, and it'd be great to get him back, because I know we've been saying for the last couple of years about the Mount injuries and whatever else. He's been as gutted as anybody, and as frustrated as anybody. But if you can get him back in there, it adds so much dimension to your squad. Like
it does, and then as you said, the midfield area, which is where, especially coming up the Bows, like it was basically non-existent down there. There was nothing coming through the midfield on Friday night against Dundalk, and that was like Dundalk likewise. I was playing under their hands.
Yeah, well, this is it.
I think you've got to have Winchester on there, you know, and the James and Adam thing we've discussed, it doesn't really work in my eyes. Like, and when you're coming up against a Bow side whose strength is in that midfield area.
Ross Tierney and more importantly Dawson Devoy, and having watched them last night, the two of them linked up well. They were playing boys on obviously Colin Wayne get a hat-trick at Sligo, they won 4-0. We'll talk about Bows a wee bit later more, but I think I suppose, I know you spoke with Patrick McLean after the game. We would like to point out that the sound, shall we say, is not the Georgie best, but anyway.
I managed my defence.
No, here we go. See when somebody starts at my defence, you know how good it's going to be.
For some reason, I know people aren't even interested, but for some reason, my headphones, Bluetooth headphones, were hooking up to my phone when I was doing the interview, so the sound was so bad, but I managed to salvage this video, and hopefully the audio is audible.
I think it's turn up your phone now and then turn it back down after the interview. But anyway, here is Patrick McLean talking to Simon after Friday night.
Okay, it's the game, I'm sure, for the fans to watch, but like you said, it's a point, and it's a good point in the end up, but again, very slow start from us. It's cost us. There's obviously a common theme here that's, you know, it's starting to show that teams are up for it and they're coming at it, and they're obviously showing no fear, and it's up to us to sort of nullify that from the get-go rather than reacting. You know, we can be a bit more proactive, and it's done well looked at. Obviously we did last week and it panned out again, but you know, it's a long season and there's a lot of new faces, so it's about gelling and getting those connections. So at the first corner, Big Rob, he was grabbing me, I couldn't get away from him, and I pretended to go, and he ran and he left me, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do this again. And sure as a bear, he's gone and left me, and I was just free. So
first goal for Derry since 2019, I think, April. Where did pass it? So So I think it's a third all in.
Yeah.
So maybe more to come as a present.
Definitely. Obviously, he didn't play as much in the last two stints, so I'm hoping to play every week now and have a bit more of a say in the goals. Yeah. Obviously, I always say about the pitch isn't great. I've wanted to take a touch and clear it, but it's kind of just bounced at me. I thought, just get rid of it. I just kicked it out, and then obviously Darrell's thrown it over my head, but I thought there was cover there, which there wasn't. And look, that's what it is. I'll have to sit down and watch it and review it, and we'll talk about them things. And it's like I can't say too much because I haven't watched it back. But see the 3 poor goals now. There's no getting away from that. I'll be as honest as the next man. It's something I'm going to sit down and look at and with the rest of the defenders and the coaching staff, and we'll talk and we'll work on things. And like I said, this place has to be tough. Like people has to hit come to the Brandywell, and it's a long season. So I think once we gel and we get things going, I think that will be the case.
Well, there you are, folks. Hopefully you heard that.
Beautiful interview.
Beautiful. But anyway, turn your phone back up now. The sound. Turn it back down. So, look, he knows himself. It'll be a case of looking back at it on Monday and holding his hand up. He feels he made a mistake. He was sort of hoping possibly somebody behind him. Didn't happen. But obviously delighted with getting the goal. And he done Rob Cornwell like.
He did. That's what he was saying basically, but. He seen him sort of moving, he got a bit of space, and it was a great header, the delivery wasn't always great up until that point, coming in from the corners and stuff like that, so it was a great corner, good header, and he was obviously delighted. He was still buzzing after the game, but it's a big moment for them, and the McLean brothers, teaming up for the goal, a big goal at that point. You thought, right, Derry's going to kick on at this stage, but again, as he mentions there, he puts his hands up. The second goal was just per switch off, and they'll look back at it, and I think Tiernan wasn't too happy afterwards with the manner of the goals that they've conceded. All 3 of the goals now that they've conceded in the opening 2 games, there's a bit of work to do in that.
There is, and unfortunately for Patrick, the goal against Sligo, he seemed to be well inside the 6-yard box. I think it was James was going with a Kiki, didn't keep going, and the Kiki gets it in, but the rest of the back 4 is pushed out. But Patrick seemed to be shot in the 6-yard box, and then you get that goal. So, look, at the minute, it's a work in progress. Well, look, it's a work in progress, and the back 4 have to get themselves right, and Rob Seven have to get a wee bit of sort of understanding and partnerships. Look, it is
all around the pitch and that. Those wee relationships they'll grow, but there's not much room for error. I know Shamrock Rovers haven't yet to get going yet for postponements. We had points on the board, but you would have liked to have a 6 here now, and you should have had 6.
Well, this is up you should have been aiming. They would have been aiming for 6. You didn't see enough on Friday night. They say that you should have had 6 because they didn't kick on whenever they got equal. You're thinking, right, this is the same as the Sligo game, we're going to kick on now. They didn't get the chance to kick on because you conceded so quickly, and I was like, oh right.
I don't know if they deserve to win it. I don't mean like that, but they should be having 6 points on the board with those 2 opening home games.
There's no doubt about that.
But Dundalk, I think, were full value for a point there and from Friday, and arguably probably created the better chances.
Yeah, they won it. You sort of look at I was going to say the results elsewhere, but there's only one other result, because for the sounds of Dublin, you need a boat to get around Dublin for the last 3 weeks. But Drogheda, here, clean sheet again, 2-0. They're just ticking along. They get their last minute winner down in Galway the opening night. They get 2 quick goals. We're talking a quick start at the Brandywell. That's what Kevin Doherty got on Friday night with Drogheda. I think it was like 4 and 10 or something. The 2 goals came in minute-wise. They came out of the blocks fast, got the 2 goals, and then it was a case of they were pretty comfortable. They were very good, defensively, which they always are. To be fair, they Kevin, he has players that they know their jobs, and he always have to start rebuilding. But he seemed to find these people and rebuild and goes again. So they're sitting top of the league. Obviously, then last night we're recording this on Sunday morning. Last night I watched Bows. Watched up there about 80 minutes because it was game over at that stage, and Bows were very good. No doubt about it. The pitch was heavy. The old, can you do it in the wet night in Sligo? Well, by God, they couldn't. Collie Whelan gets a hat-trick. but Dawson Lavoy in the middle of the field with Ross Tierney, a fuck big Hickey at centre half, and Sam Todd were very solid, and another clean sheet. So, you know, they're going to be, Rennie's probably the same boat, thinking we should have 6 points, because they've probably the best chance against St. Pat's and the Aviva. So he's probably a wee bit frustrated they haven't got the 6 points, but they're coming to Brandywell, cock a hoop, and they're going to come with a lot more threat than and hitting there. I think it could be a good ding dong, because I think both teams will go for it. And that's what, unfortunately, that's what Derry need from what I can see. They need a team to come at them.
They open up a wee bit, and I think that's what they're expecting. Whether Rennie pulls a wee fast one there, like, you know, but and I know like Bows have recruited well too. It's set up to be a great game. Collie Whelan, he doesn't like playing on a pitch. That's the only thing, you know. But
he made a feature, like he may be in the bench and bring him on. But if you're Rennie, you're going just for the let's go.
Exactly, but they have threats everywhere. It does set up to be a great game. Just on, I didn't watch the game on Saturday, but I heard Sligo, John Russell afterwards,
Brilliant.
and he slated his team.
Brilliant.
And you know, when you're getting hammered 4-0 at home, now, this is the same Sligo team that put it up to Derry the week before up at Brandywell, and you know, they just didn't turn up, and he made no bones about it, like that it wasn't good enough, and some of these players are playing for their shirts now.
Look, he's right, because at the end of the day, it's the first home game of the season. We were disappointed we didn't get a point with the Brandywell. We felt we should have. We started off well, blah blah blah, and they just didn't turn up. They were like, you know, they conceded after 2 minutes, and it was a cabinet of errors. Keystone Cops trying to clear it, and they conceded after 2 minutes. Theo Rooney scored, and then it was like, right, we need to regroup and start again, but they never got going. I think I know Jessica Farr was doing the comedy, she was doing his interview after, didn't have a shot in the second half. You know, that's concerning, and you're right, he did what all supporters want managers to do. He looked at it and just went, it wasn't good enough, they need to get their acting out, they need to look at themselves in the mirror and get going. But normally managers go, look, you know, first couple of games and we're still working on it.
No.
He went straight to 6 down Fountain Hall and doesn't care.
And you're right, so you would expect a big reaction from them, like at the weekend.
Yeah.
But for Bows, I think it's a wee bit concerning for Derry how well they've sort of clicked on the gear. And you know, you get Sam Todd, another guy coming up to Brandywell, a point they proved, and you know, he started well.
As I say, they played free at the back against Pats, they went before the back, but Hickey's been the man playing centre half, and he won every header, every cross come bang, and the other side, Sam Todd won his headers. So no, look, if you're Rennie, you're delighted. Your defence, you played 2 different formations, and you've kept 2 clean sheets, and so he knows he can change it around if need be. Look, this is going to be difficult. Just started looking at the rest of the fixtures, where obviously you've got Shells and Rovers was postponed, but you now have Rovers playing Pats at Tala, then they played Dundalk on the Monday, then they played Bows. The fixtures are really cramming up for Shamrock Rovers, from people going, you know, the European matches, they didn't need much pre-season. Well, maybe they should have more pre-season, because they're not getting any games now.
Exactly, and you want to have the points on the board. If you're Derry City, you're thinking, like, I know it's 4, but 4 more to Shamrock Rovers, and when you have those games now crammed together, and Duffy games, you know, Monday night games, it's going to be tough for them. They kick in the gear, especially. They don't have too many new players there, but they're still going to be, you know, about rusty to start the season off. You know, it's a great time, Derry. That's why the onus is on Derry. Really, just, you know, stick the boot on, get another 3 points on the board, and then that's a great advantage they have over the open a few weeks.
Well, this is it, like, as I say, because they have 3 games in a week, there's a fair chance they'll have 3 games in a week by the time they play Derry and the following Friday. They have to pencil in their game there on Friday night was called off against Shells and Tolka. They have penciled, as I say, Dundalk in. So no, from Derry's point of view, they have to just worry about themselves. But, like, you know, the problem sort of the other night with Derry, sort of, it's just that start. We keep saying it, and it's 2 games in a row. And in fairness to Mickey Duffy, I interviewed him after. Mickey sort of says, well, it's a recurring theme the last 2 weeks, but it's been a recurring theme for quite a while. So that has to, someone has to start
We
with.
fed up last week. Like, those questions. It was Rory Higgins, even Kieran Lynch last year. You want them to start faster at home, especially because some of the performances away from home, they've been straight out of the blocks and they've been different altogether. But I don't know what it is. Whether it was, I think you were mentioning the Sligo game, it was a wee bit of nerves maybe, opening day of the season, a couple of all new faces around, but definitely they need to be coming out of the blocks. They can't allow goals to take a goal advantage, that's for sure. But I thought against Dundalk, and I was actually walking out with Duffy afterwards at the end of the game. I think he causes trouble. You know what he brings, but for Josh Thomas, it frees him up. I would like them to see that two up top, and I think it would have worked. It just matched Dundalk. It probably would have worked on Friday night.
Yeah.
Bowes is a different story because that the midfield is a key area in this game. But I think those two would complement each other very, very well.
Well, this is not it's because it's trying to keep everybody happy and keep everybody on, but it's a long season. So the likes of your Jimmy Starr hasn't started, Gavin White hasn't featured, Liam Boyce has to come back, and you're going to need all these boys. So everybody needs to sort of settle ahead with only 2 games in, but you also try to get a settled side, a side that's playing well. They know each other well. They're still getting used to it, but at the minute, I think Tiernan's trying to appease everybody at the minute and keeping everybody on, and it's, as I said, didn't work on Friday night. I think this Friday you have to get one centre back in the centre of midfield, and if it means Adam going on the right back or bringing Alex Bannon back on, who we both sort of agree, we don't know why he was brought out. I know Tiernan's is technical, but I sort of thought, Alex Bannon's just scored. He was very emotional. He was delighted. Got the Derry back into the game against Sligo. Where were they? Strange one. You're putting the bench. It doesn't add up to me, to be honest with you.
I'll spring this one on you because you're going to be surprised.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to put my Gobby Collins hat on here.
Right.
Roddy's comments about James McLean being undroppable. Is it something that might you say that Tiernan's appeasing everybody or trying to appease everybody? Is it possible that could be a case where James is this untouchable?
I don't know about untouchable. I think, look, you're giving Roddy too much credit, to be honest with you. But listen, some of the comments Roddy made could be right. What does Tiernan do? Does he how does he change it if he needs to change it? But James is long enough in the game. He knows that there could be times where he has to look. I'm not playing well, or it's not working out. I might change it. I might change 2 or 3 maybe. Look, that's decisions that Tiernan's going to have to make. There's no doubt about it. I know, as I say, you look at defensively. Patrick, right? They have to bring Jimmy Stott on. They attack pack. These things have to be. These decisions are going to have to be made. There's no 2 ways about it. And the manager has to be the man that makes the decisions, and the players have to say, right, well, I have to abide by it. And okay, I'm disappointed I might be left out, but then I have to show myself and get going again. Yeah. But look, as I say, I wouldn't pay much heed to the comments.
No, like I wouldn't either. But it's definitely a talking point. I don't think Tiernan Lynch isn't the kind of manager that's going to overly trying to appease these guys. He hasn't done it in the past. There's been big personalities dropped from that team, and they're playing elsewhere now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't think he's going to shirk that responsibility. Now, in terms of James, I think he brings too much. Potentially not in that centre midfield role. I think if I like to see him out a wee bit wider, nobody's like that left peg, and we've seen it at the President's Cup final as well, where he set up Murky for the goal, and then that'll lose Mickey drift on side. But I think there's just so he is. It's early in the season, as we say, and he doesn't know people's best positions or how he's going to get a tune out of them, the best tune out of them just yet. So there's still a wee bit of tinkering to do. I agree with you. You want a settled side. You don't want to be every week we're second guessing who's playing where.
We spoke about it earlier. The box worked a treat last year. Got the best out of Mickey Duffy, which he ended up getting Players Player of the Year. So you want that again. I'm sort of looking. If you went with a box for say, and again we're getting a wee bit technical here, but I would have James Clark beside Kieran Winchester. James McLean and Mickey Duffy playing off, possibly two up front. So then it's like a 6-10 basically. Thomas and Dubbo. And I suppose then you're going to see
defenders.
well, your back four is going to be. No, don't get me wrong. Kieran Winston's going to go. Is there any chance here? But I still think Clark has the legs and get up and down. People might say you can maybe put him in front of James or switch. You can switch James and James Clark. That's the thing. But it's trying to get more to Mickey Duffy. And I think if you can get him in that wee box, or work to treat the teams that know is Mickey getting up behind us, stopping him. So that's the thing. Like so. Look, it's seeing who's all fit and available, but it's getting the results at the minute.
Well, I think James Clark's one of the first. Him and Mickey are two of the boys that are on first in that team for me. Brian Manor, but he's injured at the moment.
Yeah.
and Kiara once says, you've got these boys that you want to sign up, you can build a team around.
Yeah.
But James Clark on Friday night is going to be they're going to be all eyes on him from a Bows perspective, especially because he's made that switch.
Yeah.
Looking, they won a league title, so I'm sure it's going to be part of Rennie's team talk here. Like, going, let's show him he's made a mistake. But be interesting to see where he plays first of all, and how he deals with that scenario.
There's no doubt about it, but it's a case of look. Tiernan has to sort of. We have to see, we're doing this on a Sunday, see who's fit, who isn't fit, and see what the situation is. Obviously, Liam Boyce is a person that I would say this week at the press release are up there, what's the situation, because he was on the bench against Shamrock over in the President Cup. Honestly, I think it was just more of a name on the bench in the President Cup. I don't think he was ever going to come on, but he hasn't been seen since, so it's a case of what's the situation there. Gavin White, getting him back involved in the squad. Jimmy Stott's going to, maybe not yet start knocking at the door, but he's going to be sort of sitting here, boss, we haven't kept the clean sheet yet.
That's the thing, that's a good argument they have, you know, but...
Still early for anybody to go knocking Tiernan's door, to be brutally honest.
Yeah, in terms of Stott and Slavin, or Stott and Paddy McLean, what do you think the Geats kind of brings to that position? Because there is an issue too with all left footers, like I know we talked about it, but in terms of the balance and along the back,
I just know obviously Patrick started on the right hand side of the back two, beside Rob Seven. Now Rob Seven played the majority of his in the back three for Galway on the right hand side. So you're sort of thinking, alright, Rob Seven can go on there. Look, we don't look, as I say, we're not saying Patrick out. I'm just saying if he could possibly put Slavin on the right hand side and maybe move Patrick across the left, he seemed to be more sort of favouring the left foot, obviously. But as I say, I know Slavin played the majority on the right hand side, so he'd be maybe more used to it. But again, we're not seeing training what it's like. They could be standing out in training. Patrick's doing a whole lot better, and Slavin's doing better on the left hand side. You just have to see them.
The good thing, we have good options.
This is it.
Be interesting to see if there is any movement before the end of the transfer window too, because as you say, we need a goalkeeper. And also that right back position has been an issue, so there could very well be movement before Friday night.
I would be surprised that if they're not movement. That's my honest opinion. I would say Tiernan will be trying to get at least one, if not two, preferably three bodies under the squad. But I think a keeper and a right. Look, his ideal scenario as a keeper and a right-sided defender who can play right back or right centre half. That's, listen, I'm asking for a lot there, but that's what
where do you go? Like you're not going League Ireland. Like you wouldn't think you could prize anybody away from other clubs. Like,
you just don't know.
At this stage,
you might be able to. You sort of have to look at boys that maybe aren't playing, and you think he's half decent. We can maybe make a wee inquiry. You just wouldn't know. Like you wouldn't know at this stage.
Well, we'll just sort of keep our ear to the ground there for that one, Kev. Like, but it's like there's no doubt Friday night the big game is Derry Bows.
Yeah.
What about the rest of the fixtures?
Well, obviously, like as I say, it's a big tasty one too. Stephen Kenny got back to Callaway with some Pats, and at the end of the day, their match was called off too. Like, so they've only a point. So we said before the podcast started, and all this season, Rovers' start was going to be. Derry have to capitalize if double derbies ever. Well, now it's double derbies where the Docks crammed in, they have to get another double derby crammed in. So look, Derry have to be at it. There's no two ways about it. But I think to be honest with you, Virgin Media, credit to them, to be fair to them, you know,
Quick switch.
quick switches everywhere. Like I know Derry's PRO, Lawrence Moore, was slightly panicking when there was another pitch inspection and dropping out Waterford. He's like, I'm waiting for that phone call. We're all coming to the Brandywell again.
Says a lot for 4G pitches.
I said, oh yeah, we'll not be talking about 4D pitches come the end of April. Here's hoping. No, I think it's a case of that's the two sort of main games. But I think if you're look, I think Virgin Media will be at Tala covering Rovers and St Pat's, and I can't really criticise them because at the end of the day they've tried to get the matches in Dublin, and as I say, they've needed a boat. So no, I think it's going to be interesting. It's a big, so early in the season, but it's a big Friday night with the games that are playing. You know, you potentially. I know St Pat's dropped away and done the top four last year, but you know you potentially Derry, Bows, and Shamrock Rovers, Pats.
Yeah.
It's sides that are all either challenging for a league title or have aspirations to challenge for a league title or aspirations definitely for Europe.
Yeah, I know like Stephen Kenny, I think he's enjoying the pressure going off and slipping onto the radar, so it's going to be interesting to see how they start the season, but it just feels like it hasn't really started yet.
No, Kevin Doherty's saying I think the find it has. We've 2-1 from 2 and I've seen them go. But Drogheda again have been very good and Drogheda do this, you know, I think I was on with Philip Quinn doing the preview the League of Ireland season and Radio 4. We were talking about I think it was 6 games last year, the first 5 games last year. Drogheda were top of the league.
Yeah, that's
you know, so this
Sarah Markey was talking about that
yeah.
before we started the season too. If we could emulate that kind of start that they had last year,
yeah.
and you know, then everybody's chasing you, like, so it's you know, it's better up and down, isn't it? But
well, this is it. Shelburne got it a couple of years ago when Damien Duff won the league title with Shales. They started off like a house on fire, and then some might say they sort of stumbled. But I think it's like 8 or 9 matches where they won about 7 of them or so. No, it was ridiculous.
It gives you something to climb on to, because there's going to be upsets like Shamrock Rovers, especially with a schedule like they have now already. There's, you know, you can't see them winning all those games.
No.
You know, so it's a good advantage they have over them, who you would expect to be your biggest rivals for the league title, as they've shown year on year. So it's a good opportunity. Must say just that, like, you were slagging Patrick McLean for a lot of this podcast.
Right.
He does say to me that he watches it every week and listens it every week. So you can expect.
We're here to give our opinion. We're not here to just defend Simon won the fence again. That's what he's called. As everybody knows. Mick will back me up with that.
No, I can't say you made some good points there, Ken.
But no, I think it's a case of now Derry have to get back in the horse and get going. I think from a title, I think Bows, as I say, they impressed me last night, and as I say, it wasn't just the result was going to everything stand, it was the manner of the performance on the type of pitch that it was, on the cold night and blowing a gale and raining. I went, Rennie's got boys here are ready to rock and roll. Like.
Yeah, definitely that final third of the pitch, these are all guys that have built up relationships over like 3 or 4 seasons, you know, so there's not too many new guys at the top end of the pitch, and that's a wee bit of a difference from Derry. So it's intriguing. It's going to be really interesting to see. First of all, what kind of starting 11 Tiernan Lynch feels. If there's any new additions, who knows? But it's set up to be a really, like, it always is against Bows.
Yeah,
it's always a cracking pitch. So
don't believe in early folks because I can tell you with Derry Bows there's always lit goals.
Yeah, that's true. But I suppose at this juncture we can ask for your prediction.
I'll go with.
How did you get on last week with your prediction?
No, I went with 2-1 Derry. So whenever Owen Kenny scored, I went happy days. That big, and then it went parachute. Whenever Dundalk scored a second, I was like, oh right. I'm doing a Simon. I'm sitting on the fence. I'm going with a draw on Friday night. I think it's going to be a score draw, possibly 1 each.
I'm going to go 2-1 Derry. You know, I think it could be a nice open game. There's nothing suggests that there's going to be a clean sheet.
No.
You know, well, maybe Bows maybe for 2 clean sheets, but I think Derry will score. I think 2-1. I would like to think would be a fantastic result. You know, and you've got what many points on the board then, Kev?
Well, you know, you've got your points, and that's what you want. That's exactly. Up to 7, so you'd be happy enough for that.
Be a good solid start. Like, yeah.
So no. Well, look, folks, we're hoping the next couple of weeks we possibly get Lawrence Moore on. Lawrence knows about this, but he's just sort of, and he's new position now at the club, so we'll be getting that sorted in the next couple of weeks. And hopefully it's after a Derry City victory. You join us next week.